support that you guys are needed. We know there's a lot of information flow and a lot of information that's flying around about what to do and how to do it, especially being new. You know, you got all the carriers, you got 1,000 different places to go to try to find this information. So we've tried to water it down as best we can, but we also want to slow down the speed up. Now, what I mean by that is providing trainings like this so you can ask whatever question you want. There are no stupid questions, especially people that are new. Everybody, if you're in your first probably couple of months, you should be on here every Saturday because you're going to pick things up in here that maybe you hadn't thought of that are going to help you in the home. I mean, it really will. So that's what we put this together, not just to come on here and talk, but to show you a couple things and let you ask whatever questions you want. So if I don't have the answer, and it's a good chance some of the questions you guys ask, I might not. This is a great place for you. It's a great sterile environment for you to ask. Again, there are no stupid questions. This is the no judgment zone. And even if it's something you've been told 10 or 15 times, this is definitely the place to ask. I'm not going to pick on you. I'm not going to say anything crazy or whatever the case is. We want to make sure we don't just tell you have that platform, you have it. So I usually have an agenda. Well, I always have an agenda together. I'm going to tell you guys what's on the agenda, but don't let me take the call over. This is for you. So if you have a question about an application or how to get into something or how to find something, whatever the case is, we'll help you do that today. And if I don't have the answer, I'll get it. We're going to talk, and not in any particular order, but there are two things that I definitely want to cover before I take you guys' questions. So we're going to cover work spots. We're going to cover compensation. We're going to cover the FFL Genesis site. We're going to cover FFL-Go and how it works. And then we'll cover the CRM. I just purchased some more leads yesterday, and I want you guys to see kind of how to maneuver through that and everything else. And then the last thing that we'll talk about is, which I think never gets talked about here, and it's not a negative thing, it just never gets talked about, is what to do from a tax perspective. Now I'm going to put an asterisk on it. I don't put asterisks on anything, but I am going to put a small asterisk on this. I am not a tax accountant. I don't know anything. I pay people to do that stuff because that's way out of my lane and out of my league. But there are some minor things that you guys can do to help set yourself up starting here, even if you've been in business before, and even if you're not set up as a corporation, to help yourself out to get as many write-offs, legal write-offs as you can, but also to help you from a cash flow standpoint as well. And we'll discuss that. So work spots, compensation, FFL Genesis, FFL Go, the CRM, and then QuickBooks. So that's what we'll cover. You guys can jump on and off of this as however you see fit. But again, we put this in place to make sure you guys get what you need. So let's see. We'll go ahead and get started. Brandon, good morning, man. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Morning. Good morning.
All right. So let's start with comp first. And then from comp, we'll go to a couple of the other places. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. If at any point, guys, I lose my screen, I think most of you guys have my cell phone number. I was having issues with my laptop this morning. Usually I have that on to see if it goes out or not, but we're gonna go ahead and get this party started. So let's cover compensation. And again, guys, stop me at any time if I'm going too fast, because I know I talk fast, even though I try not to. I want to make sure you guys understand this. Okay, so here's an FFL example, and this is going to work the same across the board, regardless of carrier. The percentages will change, but how this actual formula and function works exactly the same for every company except AIG and Great Western, and we'll cover that here in a second. So you go and you sit down with a family, and they decide to purchase whatever program it is, but let's say it's the Americo CBO 100. Okay, first of all, can anybody tell me what, other than Michael, can anybody tell me what the Americo CBO 100 is? Get you guys' brains flowing this morning. Anybody?
It's a cashback option.
That's exactly right. So that means it's cash back. Very good. And what does that mean though? When do they get all their cash back?
After the term or the policy's up, right?
That's it. Yeah, that's exactly right. So you guys aren't familiar with John Hancock yet. And this trips people up. John Hancock only gives back 75%. So when you guys start getting your appointments with John Hancock, just keep that in mind. And the reason I'm throwing these little things out here to you guys now, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but you're going to be sitting with somebody one time, and you're going to be showing it to them, and you're going to say, yep, you get all your money back. And then you're going to get to the illustration. It's going to say 75%. All right. Thank you for you guys' participation. So I'll be asking for you guys' participation at 8:30, and it's boring to sit here and listen to me talk. All right. So $200 a month is on the Americo CBO. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. $200 a month, $200 a month times 12 months is $2,400. Okay, that's their premium. $2,400 is the annualized premium. Again, guys, there's no stupid questions here. $2,400, and let's say your compensation is 110%. The Americo is going to take your 2,400. They're going to multiply it by 110%, and now your commission is $2,640. Any questions? I'm going to take silence for that you guys understand that. If you don't, please let me know. I'm happy to go over it again. Now your commission rate is 2640. They're going to take 2640 times 75%. That is essentially 9 months of the year. So when you hear people say 9-month advance or 75, most of the time people just say 9-month advance. Okay. So now they've taken your 2640, because that's now your commission, because your pay rate is 110. And that is $1,980. With Americo, we usually get paid every 24 to 48 hours. It's pretty nice. Okay. So that means $1,980 is going to be deposited into your account. But remember, your full commission amount was $2,640. $2,640 minus your initial commission of $1,980 means you have $660 remaining that will start to be paid to you in month 10, 11, and 12. Now, after you're here, when you hit about your 10th month, and I'm telling you guys, I'm coming up on a year here, I think next week, it goes by so fast. And it's crazy because you'll start to have a couple $100 show up here, $300 show up here, $90 show up there. It's really nice just to have what feels like, if you earned it, but it feels like extra money. And that's what we always tell people. If you give this career a year, you're going to be glad you did. You really are. So does everybody understand the first 9 months is 75% advance, and then what you have in reference to your residuals that comes in 10, 11, and 12? And I'll accept silence as understanding. Very good. Okay, now here's one thing that a lot of people don't know. You only get renewals on whole life policies. Okay, and I'm going to show you guys the commission. Usually whole life pays a little bit less. It's still really high compared to what a lot of us are used to coming from other parts of the insurance industry. So here's how this works. And I'm going to show you guys the percentages here in a second. If you were at 110%, when they pay their 13th month, which means they're going into their second year, they're going to take that same 2640, they're going to multiply it by 5.5%, and that's what they're going to advance you. And you're going to get paid that every year in year 2, year 3, year 4, and year 5. In year 6, the percentage goes down, but you're going to get paid that year 6 through 10. So they're going to take your 2640, multiply it by that rate, which is 2.5%, which is $66. And you're going to get that every year that client renews up through year 10. Anybody have any questions about how this works?
Yeah. What's the difference between a residual and a renewal?
Great question. That's a fantastic question. So a renewal is, or residual, excuse me, is what they have left over. It's the residuals of what they're supposed to pay you.
Okay.
A renewal was when the client actually renews and goes into their next year tier. So you have your client pays, they pay you out the 9-month advance. Your residual is month 10, 11, and 12. When that client pays their 13th month premium, that client is now a second year, considered a second year client to you. And that's where you get your residuals, or your renewal, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So renewal basically means they're renewing, just to kind of give you a delineage between the two. That's a great question. Great question. Nobody's ever asked me that one before.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. Tell me, that's why we do.
Thank you.
That's why we do these.
For sure.
Yeah. So check this out. First of all, I love that question. So I'm going to show you guys this here. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. So actually there is a newer one, but let's go here. They just added the 145% tier to this. Okay. Now I want to make sure we're staying in the same vein to keep the conversation the same. So we're going to stick with 110. If you look at the top left-hand corner of this, where it says FFL contract, 110%. So if you sell, where it says at the top for Americo, HMS 125, if you see HMS or term 100, 125, they mean the same thing. Okay. This thing was actually just updated. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. These are right. So 110, if you sell the 125, if you sell the 100, anything like that, your commission is going to be 110%, right? Same example I gave you guys a few minutes ago. I won't go back over it for time's sake, but remember, you're going to get that 1980, and then month 10, 11, and 12, you're going to get $220. But let's say you help someone with the Eagle Premier. The Eagle Premier is the senior program for final expense. But you can see in the 100% tier for the Eagle Premier, it's 105%. It's not 110. That clear to everyone? Okay, I'll get up silence and understanding. All right, the dog understood. All right, so
Yeah, they're going crazy.
if we go across, if we go across into Mutual of Omaha, you can see the Term Life Express pays 110, but their final expense, which is called Living Promise, pays 95. So again, yes, you're being paid a smaller amount, but you're being basic. You're going to be paid for 10 years on that same policy. So I would rather have a longer residual or renewal, if you will, and take a little bit smaller piece up front. That's just me. And then you can see all the commission levels, if you will, across the page based on the product. Okay. I'm showing you guys this stuff, and I show this every week because I'm telling you guys, I would say somewhere between 85 and 90% of people at it, pretty much in any insurance industry, have no idea how their compensation works. None whatsoever. And they're just taking what the insurance company's paying them. And that's insane. If you were punching a clock someplace and your check was wrong, you would ask someone. All right. So there's two more things I want to show you, basically, three more things. The first one is you can flip through this. This is actually on our website, which I'll show you, that we just uploaded the new one on there as well. So you can see the percentages for all the products and all that, right? So if you're curious about what your compensation is with Great Western, if you're at the 110% tier, you go across the page, you can see it pays at 80%. John Hancock pays at 110. Aetna pays at 107.5 if you're at the 110% tier. So if that doesn't make sense to anyone, please let me know and I can walk through it again or explain it to you. Now, there's two more things that I want to point out. Let's stay in the same 110% tier. If you go to Great Western, they pay 80%. Okay. But Great Western and AIG, because they are guaranteed issue carriers, which means it does not matter what your health is. They don't ask anything about your health. You could have, one of your clients could have just left chemotherapy 30 minutes ago, and you could write them a policy. Now, we're not going to come, unless you guys have a specific question, we're not going to go into major policy detail unless someone asks, but they are going to take your 80%, and as opposed to paying it at 75, they advance you 50%. Does that make sense to everyone? So let me ask this question. If your commission was $1,000, okay, your commission's $1,000, and they're only advancing you, they're going to take that grand times 80%, which would be $800. If you're advanced at 50%, how much would your initial compensation be?
$400.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And here's a subset to that question. If it's $400, your commission rate was $800, they're paying you a 50% advance, which would be half of the year. When would your residual start?
It would be the 6 month.
That's correct. Month number 7, because they're advancing you 6 months out of the year.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense to everybody? Because I'm sure some of you guys are scratching your head, but you're not going to ask the question. Does that make sense, guys? I'm going to expect silences. I understand. Because I get these calls all the time. I sold an AIG and my commission was $260. I'm like, yeah. Remember on the call when I said, and you're like, oh yeah. Great Western and AIG, that's how their compensation works. All right. Just want to show that because you will sell a lot of those because there are some people out there that aren't doing too high. All right. So in reference to how you move up from a compensation standpoint, let's just use this calendar as it is. So you're a brand new agent, and whether you're new or not, it doesn't matter, but you're a brand new agent, you come here and you're at 90%. For you to move to 95%, you have to sell 5,000 issue paid 2 months in a row to go from 90 to 95. Okay. For you to move from 95 to 100, you'd have to sell 10,000 2 months in a row. Okay. So let's say you come here 2 months in a row, you issue pay 10,000. Hope everybody knows what issue pay means. You issue pay 10,000 2 months in a row. But in that process, you recruited 5 people. Okay. While you've been making your own sales, you recruit 5 people. And let's say in your 4th month, you and your team issue pay $75,000. You now move from 100 to 105. Let's say a couple people on your team recruit a couple people, and the next month, even though you're at 105 now, the next month, you and your crew do 100,000 issue pay. You move from 105 to 110. So let's take a step back. On the left-hand side of this grid, it's called a producer contracts. You have to go 2 months in a row with those issue paid numbers to move up as an individual. On the right-hand side is a builder's contract. All you have to do is obtain that issue paid number one time and you move up the next month. Now, when I say next month, guys, it might take a month and a half, whatever the case is, for to get paperwork done and all that and get all the information out to the carriers. But just understand that you will be moving to the next tier. Now, here's the beautiful part about FFL from a compensation standpoint. There's a lot of good stuff here. Once you obtain a level, whether it's individual or as on the builder's contract, producer or builder's contract, you never go backwards, ever. Any questions about how you move up, level up, individual, or if you're building a team? And by the way, even on a producer's contract, no one will ever, at least here at Genesis, will never force you to recruit, ever. If you want to recruit, we have meetings for that. We'll help you. I'll do your interviews with you, all that kinds of stuff. We're here to help.
Corey, I have a stupid question.
No stupid questions. Go ahead, Amy.
It just occurred to me. Okay. So, when building a team, so if like I recruit somebody and then I put them in at the comp and then I make, because I'm training them, I'm making a little bit of commission off what they sell.
Uh-huh.
And then they recruit somebody. So do I make money off of the person? Okay, got it. Okay. Thank you.
So here's the great part. Some companies, I'm not gonna say I know them all. That's a great question, by the way. Some companies will say, you can only go so many levels, right? That doesn't happen here because it just continues to go all the way up. Now, I will tell you this, barring chargebacks and all that kinds of stuff, let's say you had a 5% split between you and that other person. Overall, your split's probably going to be 3% by the time you look at chargebacks and all those other things. Okay, just being fully transparent. Here's another thing from a recruiting standpoint, and unless somebody else has another recruiting question, I'll move on. Great question, by the way, Amy. If you're helping someone with leads and that kind of stuff, and that's kind of the agreement that you guys put in place right in the beginning, put a 15-20% split between you and that person. But here's the deal. That way you can kind of recoup some of your costs and those kind of things. There's nothing wrong with that. But once they do their first 15, 20,000, bump them up 5%. All you have to do is reach out to Amy and I via Slack and say, hey, I want to move my teammate John Smith up 5%. I want to move him from 90, or I want to move him from 100 to 105. You can absolutely do that. Okay. Here's another thing I love. Thank you, Amy. Great question. You cannot hold anyone back here. You cannot. And here's the deal. At a lot of other places, whether you're captive or not, the person above you has to die or they have to level up for you to level up. And that's not the case here. So if your person comes here and you start building you bring somebody on and they start building a massive organization, yes, she'll make your override, but they can pass you. But it's pretty hard to do. Unless you just say, you know what, I'm just done and not do anything and they keep working, that's tough to do.
Hi, Corey.
Yes, go ahead, Caroline.
What link can I send someone in order for recruiting? Where do I direct him?
I'll show that to you now. Great question.
Yes.
Yep. Anybody have any more questions about how to level up here? Awesome. This is so much. I love doing this, guys. I could do this I can do this just for my job. I enjoy doing it that much. but I will tell you guys, it's so much more fun when people are asking questions. So Caroline, I'm writing your question down right now, and I'm going to go to that here in just a second. Okay, so you decide to build a team. Okay. The first level of leadership here is called a sales manager, right? That is your team doing 50,000 issue pay in a month. Okay. No more than 50% of that can be counted from you. So if you're a rock star producer and you're doing 25, 30, 40, 50, 60K a month, because there's people here that do that, you can't have a team of one, essentially is what that's saying. Okay. 50,000, you become a sales manager here. At 100,000, you become a senior sales manager. Again, no more than 50,000 of your own personal production can count. Okay. At 100,000, you actually get your official logo and team name as well. And you become an official organization of FFL. At 150,000 issue pay, you're considered a vice president at 150,000. And then you can see the criteria there. If you guys want this document, all you have to do is Slack me and ask for any of these documents you want, and I'm happy to send it out to you so you have it. There's also other places to find this, and I'll cover that on the recruiting meeting if anybody asks on Wednesday. 500,000 is executive VP, million is board member, 2 million is senior board member, and executive board member is 3 million. So I'm sure the number will change, and as this thing is recorded, but if you're someone that wants to build an organization and really truly have I guess you could say an exit strategy and not have to sell insurance the rest of your life, this is, I don't know of any better place, and nobody's paid me to say this. I've been doing this for so long. This is an absolutely fantastic vehicle to be able to really build some true wealth to leave for your family. You get your organization, essentially, I'll save you a lot of the details, to $1 million a month, and integrity will come in even before you hit $1 million, but integrity will come in and have a conversation with you about your business. Make sure you're running your business like a business. Obviously, you guys are taking this seriously. You're here on a Saturday morning. But when you get that to $1 million a month, they'll come in and talk to you about buying your business. And the word on the street is that it's 7 times what your business is worth from day one. So every piece of business that you have on the books right now, because most of you guys haven't been here any more than or have started writing business any more than a couple months, they're going to pay you out on that. It's going to be so much, 25% stock, 75% in cash. So that's where you have people that are here that are 25, 26 years old that are getting integrity partners or integrity partnerships that are worth 8, 9, 10, 12, 15 million. And when their stock goes into play, sounds like next year, you got some of these people that are going to be worth 30, 40, 50, 60 million, doing what started out doing exactly what we're doing right now. So if you're wanting to build a legacy for your family, think about what it started to start this. A little sweat equity on a test and a couple $100 to get a license and an iPad. So our team this year, guys, will do a right around, and I guess from November till November, we'll do about 2.3, 2.4 million. And a big push here at the end of the year, probably 2.6. And I'm not any better or smarter than any of you guys. Trust me when I tell you. So if you want to do that, and one of you guys comes to me and says, hey, I want to build an organization, I'll help you sun up to sundown, because I want to try to help people to get everything they can get out of this. All right, I digress. Here are the levels from a producer standpoint, and then we'll get to your question here, Caroline. 10,000 if you issue pay, or even if for us, when you submit that much, we give you, pat you on the back for it. But 10,000 issue pay in a week is a bronze level producer. In a month is a bronze level producer. 15,000 is silver, 20,000 is gold, 30 platinum, etc. We post this on Slack pretty much daily. All right. Let's see. You guys know about the Americo 8% bonus. You guys probably won't have time to get it, but they do this twice a year. The cool part about the second part of the year that they do it, the bonus is paid out December 14th, which means, you would have it right before Christmas. So if you have $45,000 on the books between that 6-month period of time, they actually pay you out an 8% bonus on everything that you have on the books. Pretty nice bonuses. And again, if you guys want to see this, I'm happy to send it to you. There's also a full video on our YouTube page, which I'll show you guys here in a moment, that covers the renewal, like we were talking about earlier. Okay, just find your tier. Again, 110% is on the right-hand side, second from the bottom. And that's the percentages I just showed you guys a little bit ago. Year 2 through 5, 5.5. year 5 through 10 is 2.5%. All right. Last thing I'll show you guys in reference to a recruiting, if you will, just because the question was asked. So I'm not going to cover all this, but what I will cover is when you write 150,000 in a month, okay? Every month your team issue pays 150,000, you get a minimum of a $2,500 vice president bonus. If you did that every month for a year, that's an additional $30,000 essentially for just running a team. Okay, a lot of stuff to do, but it's worth it for an extra $2,500. But here's the deal: the bigger your team gets, the more production you write, the bigger the bonus. Okay, and you can see the percentages there. We don't hide anything, which I think is great. The other part of this is, from a bonus standpoint, this might not, if you guys have never looked at a bonus structure like this before, we get 100% credit for all of the main carriers that we write. That's absolutely absurd. I mean, it's crazy. And this is what I mean by that. So let's go to where it says AIG and then NLG, just for an example. So let's say your team wrote $100,000 this month of business with AIG, okay? That means you're going to get 100% credit for every dollar that was written with AIG. That's going to be a part of your bonus structure. But let's say your team wrote $100,000 this month of NLG. Only 50,000. Now you're going to get paid and all that, but from a bonus standpoint, only 50% of that premium counts. Does that make sense? Perfect. So that's why this thing, and they changed it and then upped it again. And guys, I got to tell you, this is all Sean, Mike, and home office. The company's doing extremely well. So they just keep changing and keep modifying these bonus programs. They just added a new agent bonus 2 months ago, just because the company was doing well. So if you're a worker and you're somebody that's going to go out and work and grind and help people and work for your family, I just don't know of any better opportunity, my personal opinion. All right. Does this make sense to everybody? Anybody have any additional questions? I thought I had that other slide in here, but I guess I don't. And I'm happy to send all this information out to you guys. Again, we have a video on YouTube. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move forward and answer Ms. Caroline's question here. All right. So 2 things from a recruiting standpoint. I'm going to cover this very quickly. Caroline, you could send your person to this site, joinfflgenesis.com. Okay. This is a site was set up for recruiting for the agent. So you don't have to worry about going out there and trying to build a website and pay for a website and maintain a website and do all that other stuff. It was built for you. Okay. So what it does is it has the overview video, and I'm going to show you the link here in just a second where you can create your own. So overview video, what we do, term, whole life, universal, annuities, and soon we'll be adding med subs. How we do it. So just a couple quick videos on that. Compensation, there's a video on compensation. So I need to actually update. This is the old video. I need to update that one to the new one I just made not long ago. Virtual sales. So for those of you guys that want to get into the virtual sales world or selling from home in your pajamas, you can do that. We've got a link to that now. We've got podcasts that we do, which I'll be doing one with Michael here, and hopefully some of you guys here in the near future. Just did one with Renee the other day. And then joining the team. So you could send someone to this website. They come out and put their name, their email, and then in the message box, they put their phone number and they put Caroline in here as the recruiter. I will do the interview with you, Caroline, and we can get that person started if they decide to do it. Anybody have any questions about this site? Now, check this out, Caroline. You'll appreciate this. This is on FFL Genesis. So the recruiting site is Join FFL Genesis. The agent site is FFLgenesis.com. Now, I don't know if you guys, obviously all you guys have been on websites before, and either in the top left or right-hand portion of the screen, you'll see those 3 lines. In the IT world, they call those, or website world, they call those, call it the hamburger button, okay? The reason we did not put those there is because we want you guys to slide through the website in hopes that you'll stop, read something, check something out, etc. So I know a couple times yesterday, I had somebody ask me like, hey, I just want to see an in-home presentation or whatever the case is. It's right here on the website. I know Jordan Lowry, pretty cool dude. Writes a lot of premium, and his agency is gigantic now. But he does just a really quick, really clean, very edited, professionally done video on here, in-home presentation. That's what I modeled mine off of, but I've watched other videos in the past and just kind of took out what I didn't like or what didn't feel like me and then added the rest. But the structure is there. Okay. The other stuff we did, compensation, just so you understand what the compensation is. I'm getting to your question here in just a second, Caroline. So when somebody comes out and you actually want to create a link, you can come out here to where it says best business ever. You can click on that information there, and you simply come out and put first name, last name, your email, your phone number, and you hit submit. Now I already have one created. If you lose the link, you can come back out here and recreate another one. But Caroline and everyone else, this is what this link looks like.
Thank you.
Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna walk you through it. Somebody's saying they're trying to get in the meeting for 15 minutes. Well, we should try to be on time. How about that? All right, let's see. You're very welcome, Caroline. So here's the deal. So when you create that link, it's going to send an email to you with your personalized link in it. So where it says here on the page, Family First Life is the #1 IMO in the country, come join us. Where it says view our opportunity, if I click on that, you see at the top of my screen, it says Corey Williams invites you to learn about. Caroline, it's going to say your name. So, and this is exactly what they'll see. When they click on get instant access, it's going to have them put their first name. So watch this. Test Williams, Alabama. We're going to put that email address in there and this phone number. And watch what happens. I'm going to hit submit. And then this video comes up. But look at the top. Brought to you by Corey Williams. Questions. It has my email in there and my phone number. So whatever email and phone number that you put in the information when you're setting up your link, that's what they'll see. Now, if I were the recruit and I click this, it's going to start to play.
Hi, my name is Stephen Yee.
The overview.
I want to share with you a company that has created a system that is helping brand.
Once they start watching the video, it's going to send you notification that they've actually started watching the video. So let's see if that email has come through yet. And there it is. You guys see that on my screen? Somebody?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So you can see it says Test Williams, what I just put in there from Alabama, my email address and phone. So you could then reach back out to that person. So as soon as I hit play on there, it sends me an email letting me know that that person has completed the link. So all you do, again, very quickly, let me go back again, is go out and create your link right here. Pretty simple stuff. That answer your question, Caroline? All right.
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. You're very, very welcome. You're very welcome. All right, so we got comp covered. Welcome, we got that. Okay, perfect. So again, this is our website. I'm gonna, at the top right-hand corner, guys, there's our YouTube page, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. But the YouTube page, we're putting content out there. Literally, we have content coming out there every single day. So if you're, interested in what happened on a certain meeting, or, we trained on, like yesterday, we had Americo that was on yesterday. Well, that training will be up here in a couple of days, for you guys to take a look at. This one that just came out an hour ago with Tori and Josh, they came here. I think they've been here about a year now, but they are absolutely crushing it. Absolutely. Just got their logo. They want sales manager, senior sales manager back to back, and should be VP, probably executive VP here in the next couple of months. And they're just absolutely crushing. So they came on, did some training, kind of poured into us or whatever. So that's definitely a good one. But the compensation, all the other stuff that we're talking about, the trainings, all that stuff's out here, all of it. So we try to keep it real time. We try to keep it relevant. We try to keep it short. But again, all this content is out here for you guys. All right. Any questions so far before we transition to the next thing? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to scroll down, because this is, if you're not taking notes, I highly, highly, highly recommend it now. because this is going to help you guys when you're in the field. And instead of having to call all the time or wait for somebody to get back with you, or you're sitting there in a home, you know, those kind of things. So the first thing I'm going to mention to you guys is the Velocity in-home helpline. So let me give you guys this phone number. All right. The Velocity in-home helpline, 800-304-6235. 800-304-6235. Now, what is the Velocity in-home helpline? The Velocity in-home helpline is if you're in a home and you filled out the inventory sheet and you're not really sure what to do, what carrier to place them with, whatever the case is. Your first line of defense should be your business partner. That's the person that brought you on. And then from there, then you can call the Velocity in-home helpline. Hold on a second, guys. Velocity in-home helpline. So what they do is there's 20 people that are attached to the rotary line. And basically what happens is it goes through the next agent picks it up. Those guys are selling 20,000 or more every single month. Every single month, they're selling 20K or more. So you're getting people that are actually real time in the field actually doing it. So your first call should be to your business partner, then the in-home helpline. Now let me give you these other two numbers. Okay. The first one is Todd Hausberger. Okay. He spells his name Hausberg, as in girl, ER. Todd Hausberger, 602-692-3903. Again, 602-692-3903. The next person is Chris Schiavo. Spells his last name S-C-H-I-A-V-O. S-C-H-I-A-V-O. Phone number 979-204-0995. 979-204-0995. Now, here's how this goes. Your direct business partner first, the Velocity in-home helpline, then Todd, and then Chris. So essentially you have 24, 25 people. So there's no way you're going to be in a situation in a home or have to be worried about, am I going to get the help? Am I going to get the assistance? How do I know which carrier? You just got to go out and do the job. You're not going to be alone trying to do this. Now, some of you guys are going to hear me. Maybe you wrote that down. Maybe you didn't, because you're going to be like, oh, it's no big deal. I got it. You're going to get in the home and you're going to freak out, right? Or you're going to be like, oh my God, where's that? Or where's this? That's why we do these trainings. Please text Todd and Chris and let them know that you're a part of Genesis and that you're just sending your contact information. Here's why. They know if your number pops up on their phone that you've tried to call your direct business partner, you've called the Velocity in-home helpline, and now you're reaching out to them. So they know that basically you've gone through 21 people before it got to them. So please just shoot them a text, let them know you are, let them know you're part of Genesis, and they'll save you in their phone. I highly, highly recommend you do that. All right. So we talked about creating a link. Again, if you're going to recruit someone once they're on board, and I'm not going to cover this for very long because this is what's covered on Wednesday on the recruiting and onboarding meeting. And by the way, for you guys that are being onboarded right now or trying to go through the licensing process, I highly recommend Wednesday because it allows you to ask any of the questions about SureBay or 8CMS or all these things that you're like, wait a minute, what is this one for? Why am I using two different things? You know, those kind of things. But if you're going to, when you recruit someone, if you decide to do that, this is very simple information. The new agent's first name, middle name, last name, date of birth, street address, city, state, and zip. Sorry, I can't talk this morning, etc. You're going to put whether they're licensed or not. If they are, you're going to put their NPN number, their national producer number in, the commission level that you're offering them to start partnering with you, and then your information at the bottom, and you hit submit. When you hit submit, the information comes through. You'll get an email with the PDF so you can see, so you can save it for your records. So you can try, keep track of your new agents and go from there. Okay. If you decide to get a non-resident license somewhere, so let's say you're in Texas and you want to get a non-resident, Hold on a second, you guys. Hello?
Hey, Corey, how you doing this morning?
Good.
Excellent. Are you still in the meeting?
Yeah, I'm in the meeting. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. Bye. So you have a new license. So if you have a new license, and let's say you wanted to get licensed in Alabama, you could simply come out here, click on Alabama, and it's going to walk you through all the steps of everything you need to do to get non-resident in Alabama. Pretty simple stuff. Any questions so far? It's getting pretty quiet. All right. And the last but not least is the boot camp. If you haven't completed the boot camp, highly recommend it. It's going to give you probably 50% of what you'll need moving forward in the field, etc. All right. If you finish the boot camp in 10 days, I think it's 2 weeks, 2 weeks or less, you get 30% discount on a lead order. And you just send an email to Alicia, which is a part of it. Okay. So any questions so far? Anything else that you guys had, specific questions that you have?
Corey, how do I get a copy of the carriers that you're showing?
Copy of the carriers?
Yes, just to have it in my presentation.
Well,
The list.
Well, here's the deal. That's what let me show you this here in just a second. To give you all that, we have about 25 or 30 different carriers. Okay. The in-home credibility sheet, which I was going to cover a second ago, I'll just go ahead and cover now. This is under Genesis in-home documents.
Okay.
Here's the credibility sheet. Okay. So here's the credibility sheet. When you're sitting down, you'll see this in any of the videos that you guys watch. If you've done the boot camp, you should have seen this. And also in the boot camp, they give you this information to print off. All right. Here's the home inventory sheet. For time's sake, I'm not going to cover the presentation because you can find it everywhere. But this is the home inventory sheet. You guys can do whatever you want, but I can tell you, trying to go in or trying to give the client trying to have access to every brochure that we have, it's a waste of time because they're constantly changing, they're constantly updated, they're constantly adding new products or taking things away. So my recommendation is when you sit down with the client, just let them know they're going to get the information or save it to your iPad so that you can show them or whatever the case is. But I would not try to get every brochure for every product for every carrier we have. I mean, you'll be walking around with a dump truck full of information. But this is the in-home information that you're going to cover the credibility when you're talking to someone. And there's tons of these different sheets out there. There's a couple on the boot camp. This is the one I use. I know this is one that's probably pretty readily used across the company, but I've seen some ones that people that have created are really nice as well. So completely up to you. But this is the home inventory. All right. So let's go back here. When you're in the home and you have a question or you're trying to figure out where to go, the majority of the carriers that you're going to use on a daily basis are right here. So I know some people like creating their own links and like their own little windows and all that kinds of stuff, which is perfectly fine if that's what you'd like to do. But we've tried to put everything here to keep things simplified for you. Now, one of your first lines of defense after you've gone through the inventory sheet that we just talked about, right? You've gone to the inventory form and now you know their weight, you know their height, you know their health conditions, you know all that stuff. You've talked to the in-home helpline, right? And then you come out here to FFL-go. Okay. So the first time you come out here, what you're going to see is carrier quotes and info. It's going to be a blank screen except for what's on the left-hand side, which is the legend. There's training podcasts that you can watch that are constantly being updated, training videos. Again, you have YouTube, you have all types of other resources to train. So you can see you got a ton of stuff here. Scripts, I get this all the time. Like, what do you say in certain situation? Here you go. I mean, there's just tons of stuff out here if you just, kind of take the time to educate yourself and then make it your own. But I'm telling you, when you're getting started, don't spend a whole lot of time. I'm going to make up the script and change this. Just use what's here. And after you get it down, then you can try to make it your own, right? Vendors, lead vendors, hiring templates. I mean, a lot of this stuff is out here. It's out here at your resource. And if you want to be a part of the newsletter with FFL, you can simply complete this information and hit sign up, and you'll start to get email from just different stuff. They don't blast your email too much, I can tell you that. Now, let's take a step back. You've gone in, you sit down with the person, you've got all the information. Now it's time to move forward, right? To figure out which carrier that you're going to place them with. So when I see carrier info, and then you see that kind of drop down box, if you click that, there's all the carriers, the rest of them that show up. Okay. So if you've sat there and you've talked to the client and you figured out that Americo is the best, let's just say AIG because it'll load faster. AIG is the best option for them. You simply click on AIG. Now, hopefully you guys are taking notes. I say this all the time, and then I get a phone call all the time. And if you do, I'm just going to tell you, I don't know what to tell you. Please, I'm begging you, don't use the quoting tool for AIG because it's inaccurate. Here's why. I'm going to click view quote. The last this thing was updated was September 14th of 2018. I literally had somebody call me on Tuesday because they gave somebody a rate off of here. I say it all the time. I guess I'm boring or I just don't make any sense, but I'm telling you guys, if you give somebody the rate on here, it's going to be off because this hasn't been updated for years. Okay. So what you want to do is if you figured out that AIG is the best source for this person because of their health conditions, etc., you're going to click view under the eApp. You're going to click eApp, and this works exactly the same for all of those carriers that I just showed you. I'm simply going to come out here, put my username, password in. It's going to do its thing for a second, and then it's going to take me into the application. All right, I'm going to hit submit. It's going to pull the application up. Did I lose you?
Yeah, can you let me back in?
Yeah, I'll let you back in now. All right. Okay. Keep thinking people keep falling off, guys. That's why I'm having to answer my phone. I apologize. Okay, I'm going to keep going. I'll just flip back and forth. So from here, you can go into quotes, click on get quote or quote at the top, and then run the quote from here. Was that too fast? Did you guys understand that?
That's perfect.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Okay. So same thing here. If we said Americo, I'm going to click on Americo. You can see the eApp already popped up for Americo under view eApp. I just click on the view. I hit Americo eApp. I put my information in. Americo takes a couple seconds. And it's going to pull up all the information here for me to be able to go in and run a quote. So while this thing is, you guys don't need to, you'll see that when you get in there, but let me go back out here a second. Let me see if she came back in yet. There she goes. Okay, there she's back in. Okay, so you log in, go through there. Here's the cool thing about this particular application, if you will. This works Android, works on your cell phone, works on iPads, etc. Your contact numbers, instead of you trying to Google numbers and getting the wrong number, it's all been done for you. So Americo, you can see all the stuff that's here. The contact phone numbers, the sales support, all of that. If we flip to AIG, it's going to update. Now you can see all the information down here for AIG. If we say John Hancock, I'm going to click on John Hancock. It's going to update. We have an exclusive FFL number with John Hancock. Great company, by the way. And all the other stuff that's here. Again, I'm going to say it again. Please don't use the quoting tool for Americo or AIG on here. You're going to go into, for AIG, you're going to go into the eApp to run the quote. And for Americo, you're going to go quote.americo.com. Okay. Even though it looks the same, it is not the same. Your rates are going to be off. Quote.americo.com. Okay. So in FFL Go, I know I'm using a lot of acronyms here, guys, so I apologize. In FFL Go, what you don't see is Aetna. You don't see Prosperity. You don't see, well, Transamerica's on there, but there's a lot of these that you don't see on here, right? So what we've done is, I need to get rural neighbors out here as well, because more people are starting to write them. So if Aetna is, after you've gone through all the information, you've done all the stuff, Aetna is what you figure out is that's the best carrier for them after you talk to the in-home helpline, etc. I'm simply going to click on quote. I'm going to click on log myself into Aetna site. And now I'm in here to their site. Cool thing about Aetna is Aetna has what's called their sandbox. So that allows you to go in and practice. Now I'm going to show you something. I'm just going to click on the sandbox really quick. And you're going to see in the top left-hand corner of this application, it's going to say sandbox. Hopefully everybody can see that in the top left-hand corner. Here's the other part of it though. If you're not paying attention, you're going to click on that. People do it all the time. We had somebody call me earlier this week that did a complete application in Sandbox, got to the end to try to put the information through and it wouldn't go through because they were in the Sandbox. That's what we do these trainings. All right. But if you're doing the regular application, where it says Aetna quote enroll version 2.0, that's what you click on. And now when this opens up, you're going to see on the top left-hand portion, Sandbox will not be there, but it looks exactly the same. See, Sandbox is gone. Now you're in the live application. The Sandbox and the real application function exactly the same. Exactly the same. Now, hopefully I'm not giving you guys too much here. Another company that allows us to do practice applications from front to back is Americo, which you'll use a lot of their application. It's Agent Cafe, just like it says on the screen, agentcafe.com. It allows you to come out here and do a practice application. scdemo.americo.com. So you can see that.
Corey,
Yes, ma'am.
since this is in the practice environment, then the social security and date of birth is not relevant?
It is not relevant. That's correct.
Okay.
And when you're doing the banking stuff on there, just to be able to complete the application, I usually use like a Bank of America routing number or something to make sure I have enough numbers. And then I'll just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0 for the account number and it goes through. That's an excellent question, Caroline. Yeah, so you can practice those applications. Not all the carriers allow you to do that or they don't have the stuff out there for it, but these guys do. All right, and the other applications, I highly recommend you take some time, go out there. Some of them have you register. The last thing you want to do is go and sit in front of a client and you're trying to fumble around with an application and then you're trying to call the Velocity Animal Helpline, which can't help you with that, by the way. Or you're trying to call your business partner and say, hey, I'm trying to get into Aetna. And then we're going, have you logged into? No, I haven't logged into it yet. That's kind of ridiculous, to be honest with you. But it happens every day. All right. Very, very simple stuff here. Let me go back here. So at the top here, this is when you're into the Americo site. You're going to come to Sales Connection right here. When I click that, this is what takes me out to the Americo app. Okay. Americo stuff always does this. I wish they would do some stuff to their server to speed it up, but there's a lot of people that are using Americo every day, a lot. So I'm going to wait till this comes up. I'm not going to cover all of this, but I just want you guys to see where to go. And if you use Agent Cafe, it's going to walk you through the exact same experience so that you can practice it. The other part of this is Americo in their demo site up at the very top left-hand corner where it says Americo, there's going to be a yellow line with red writing that's going to tell you you're in the demo site. I don't know why some people get confused by that, but just keep that in mind. All right. You're going to go ahead and move forward from there. So we've got FFL Go. We've got the Genesis website. As I mentioned, Americo's quote.americo.com. We've already put that out here for you as well under Americo quotes. When I click on that, that takes you to quote.americo.com. That's where you're going to pull your Americo quotes. Hopefully I'm not giving you guys too much or confusing you. But you did ask me a question just a few minutes ago, Caroline, a reference to carrier information and all that. Here's the product guides for most of the primary carriers that we use. We've also put a cheat sheet out here too. So with the ages and stuff like that for most of the carriers that you're gonna be working with on a daily basis. and tried to break some of this stuff down for you so it's all in one place. A lot of people like to print this off so they can, refer back to it. But we've tried to put as much as we can without it being truly overwhelming for you guys. But if you take the time to scroll through, you'll be in good shape. So business cards, any other, apparel or anything like that at all for FFL, we've simply put FFL Life Apparel. When you click on that, it's going to take you to the FFL store, and you can buy clothes and stands and business cards and everything else. So if I click on business cards, there's 7 different business card types. These cards come pretty quickly. So if you don't want your picture on it, you see the options you have. If you do, you'll have to send a picture to them, however they like those to be sent. And then your cards will come pretty quickly. You can see they're not very expensive either. Name tags or lanyards. Some people like wearing these, which makes perfect sense. You can see not very expensive, $12 for this. You put your picture, all of your information on there. They turn it around pretty quick. Apparel. I mean, they've just got tons and tons of stuff. Hats, clothes, sweaters, sweatshirts, you name it. Okay. And then other business supply stuff. So you guys can come out here at your leisure. Just want to let you guys know where that was at. So you can order business cards and all that kind of stuff on there if you don't want to do your own. So I'm not going to cover much more on here. Just want you guys to know where your resources and stuff are. There's tons of them on here. We got a direct link to NIPR. I'm going to cover work spots here in just a second. If you need errand emissions, if it's expired or getting ready to, we put phone scripts out here from the FFL USA website, just all kinds of stuff. Any questions before we move forward? All right, I'm going to go ahead and keep it moving then. So we've covered that. So next, let's go to our CRM system. If you have not logged, everybody on here was sent an email. And if you can't find the email, it should be under, or it will be in your email under CMS. CMS. All right. So by leads, on the top left-hand portion of your screen, it should say Family First Life CRM system by leads. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to log in. The first time you log in here, let me go back here really quick, you guys. The first time you log into this system, you're going, even though it'll take you out here with the link, you're going to have to click on get an account. When you click on that, it's going to ask you to create a username and password. Your username is going to be your email address, and then you'll create a password and a tag link or whatever for security. It'll walk you through all of it. So I'm going to go ahead and put my username in. I'm going to click next, put my password in. I'm going to sign in, and it's going to take you into the CRM. Now, there's also a video out here, so I'm going to cover this pretty quickly for time's sake. But there's a video, tons of videos out here, whether it's on our page. I bet you this CRM video has been done 1,000 times. But there's only a couple real places you're going to need to go, okay? So I'm going to click on Order Leads. The only option you have there is Buy Cherry Pick. I'm going to click on Buy Cherry Pick. Okay, so I'm in Missouri. Now I'm going to slow down for half a second here. Whatever state you're in, it doesn't matter, okay? Because it's only going to show you the available leads in those areas. As you can see, where you see green, we have leads. So pretty much everywhere in the US, even pretty rural states, if you will, Wyoming, North Dakota, Nebraska, some of those states, even Utah and Idaho. But here's the deal. When you come out here, the first time you do this, I highly recommend you watching the video. I think our video on YouTube is probably, I think it's less than 10 minutes. I'm going to click on my state. Now you can see the state of Missouri is highlighted. The top left-hand corner says ready, select a state. When I click on it the second time, it's now going to tell me to select a county. So let's say I did that for Illinois. I'm going to click once on Illinois. The second time, it's now going to highlight every county in Illinois. Okay. So you can see how things are broken out. Let me go back to Missouri. I'm going to click on it twice. And now what I have to do in order for it to tell me what's available there, you can see here's everything that's available in Missouri. So I have people ask me all the time, like, are we ever going to run out of leads? I don't know. You tell me. There's a lot of leads in here. So just in the state of Missouri. And by the way, you can work any place you're licensed. You have access to this 24/7, 365. I met with somebody the other day and he was like, you're just not going to have a whole lot of leads in my area. This person was in Wisconsin. And when I showed them, they were in Wisconsin. When I showed them, they were like, wow, I'm in a pretty rural, the counties, 3 counties that I would work in I think there was about 1,600 leads in that county. And he said he lives in a pretty small county in Wisconsin, which was pretty neat. So now I'm going to click on St. Louis County. When I click it the first time, it highlights it. The second time, it now pulls it up. All right. Everybody see that?
Yes.
Perfect. Thanks, Brandon. I'm glad you're awake, man. Thank you.
All right. Just waking up.
Yeah, absolutely. So now you can see that this says Internet, St. Louis County, Missouri. You can also see my alert button. So if I click that, I'm going to turn it off. If I turn it back on, every time there's changes in any of these lead categories in St. Louis County under Internet, it's going to send me an email. Now, it doesn't blast you all day long. You might get 1, maybe 2 emails a day sometime letting you know that there's new leads that have been put in the system. Okay. So I'm not going to cover what each one of these lead types are because we do that in the video. I just want to show you guys the functionality of this and a couple of more things on here. Now, let's say you wanted to purchase 25 of these instant internet leads. Simply click on the box to the right, put 25. Now watch what happens. So we've selected 25 of those leads in that category. And let's say we want to purchase some of the age mortgage protection leads. And let's say we want 25 of those. I have to add those to the cart. Top right-hand corner, the green button, add to cart. I'm going to simply click add to cart. It's going to do its thing. Now it's telling me there's 50 leads there, and now I need to proceed to the cart. So I'm going to proceed to the cart, and now there's all those leads. But let's say you say, you know what, my budget's $200. Okay, let's change this to 15, and let's change this to 16. $211. Let's change this to 14. I want a standard $200. 205. I can deal with that. Okay. From here, if you had a discount code, you could then put the discount code there. If the discount, let's just say the discount code was thankful. You're going to put the code in, and then you're going to hit apply code, and you can see if that were a real code, it would take it. Okay. Pretty simple stuff. I'm just going to assume if you guys have questions, you'll stop me instead of just being disruptive. Please stop me if you have any questions. So you can see how this works. It's pretty simple. If you go in and you go to buy leads and you decide to change your mind, or maybe you got to run to the store or something interrupt you, just cancel the order. That way you don't block other people from, now of course the system will time out, but if you're not going to buy them or, whatever the case is, then move forward. If you are going to buy the leads, then just simply click proceed to payment. And I have a business account, then I have another card on here that I use for points. So I'll just go ahead and do that. For you to complete the transaction, you're simply going to hit on the top right-hand corner, complete transaction. Then the screen's going to come up telling you that those leads will be in your box in 15 minutes. A lot of times it happens sooner than that. Okay. The first time you come out here, you're going to have to set up, establish an account. So all you do is go out, put the information in, put your banking information in, and follow the steps I just showed you. Again, there's plenty of videos out there as well that can help you through that. Now, you've bought the leads, right? I'll show you 2 different things here. Hopefully this doesn't give me too many problems. So you buy your leads, and then you get an email. I just bought 50 more leads yesterday. So here's the names of all of those leads that I just bought yesterday. I usually print this off and keep this with, with my receipts or whatever for tax purposes. Okay. Here's the other part of this though. It also sent me my receipt. So it emails you a receipt, and then it also emails you the leads as well. That makes sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So let's go back into the lead system. Now, remember I said there's only a couple places you're going to go. Order leads, buy cherry pick, manage leads. You can't hurt this system, by the way. You can log into it. You can do whatever you want. First of all, let me cancel this. So let me go back to cart. And we're going to cancel the order. Yep, I want to cancel it. It's a pretty intuitive system. So it's going to take you back out to the map, right? So I'm going to go to search. and it's going to pull up all the leads. And then you can see the filters at the top. So this is basically a giant Excel format, really. So I'm going to slide over just a little bit. You can see under the filter to right under the right-hand side, mortgage protection 3 months. So I'm just going to click on a couple of these. These are older leads, which is fine. They cost next to nothing. So I'm just going to click on a couple of these just so you guys can see. Okay, yeah, there's some age mortgage as well. So I want you guys to see this. Okay, I'm simply just clicking on the buttons. Now, if I were to scroll down to the bottom, it'll allow you to do 50 on a page, 25 on a page, 100 on a page. I'm just showing you guys this. A couple different things. So the first thing I'm going to do, again, that hamburger button there, is I'm going to click on that. And what it's going to show you, it's going to say open, pop up, mailer template, export leads, etc. Okay. So you could buy leads on here and assign them to someone else. Okay. You can export leads or you can put them in a mailer template. Check this out. If I click mailer template, what it's going to do is going to pull all those leads up. Okay. This is pretty cool. So you can see up here, the loan amount was basically $100,000. And the deed was recorded 7/14 of 21 with Cynthia and Keith. They got this information by hand and they filled it out and mailed it back in. So Emma is the contact person. The best time to contact her is the morning, and that's her phone number. How cool is that? Guess how much this lead was, you guys?
$3.
How much did you say?
$3.
You're right, $2.50. And they're 30% off if you're on Morgue Spots, which I'm going to cover here in just a second. So I got this lead for like $2.30.
Corey,
And I
I
would
have a question.
work them all. Say, yep, go ahead.
I purchased age final expense mailers,
Uh-huh.
and I've been learning the script for that, and I'm gearing towards telesale. Should I set an appointment or try to close once I call that client?
Perfect.
I don't
perfect.
really know the products that well and which direction to go.
Perfect. Here's what I would tell you to start off with. I would try to, especially if you're new, I would try to get as many in-home as you can. Here's why. In-home is actually slower than trying to do it virtual. And here's why. Yeah, if you're trying to sit there and do that over the phone with somebody and you got one phone and you have to tell them to hold on so that you can call me or try to call the in-home helpline, and then another question comes up and you got to put them on hold, what do you think's going to happen?
They're going to hang up.
Absolutely. So I will tell you, that's a great question, by the way, Caroline. Thank you for asking. I try to explain to people, in order for you to do virtual or order for you to do or over the phone, you're going to have the in-home down pretty well. Now you can do it if you study the products. And I'm going to show you guys one more really quick thing that will help you if you're trying to do more virtual, because it's possible. You have a lot of companies that just do virtual. Your persistency is not as good, but if that's what they decide to do, they can. So I'm going to show you guys. Go ahead.
Sorry, my main reason for that is because of COVID.
100%. Yep. So I wanted to show you guys this, and I just wrote that. I'm going to show you guys the grids here. I'm going to go back a second. I should have showed you that anyway. But what I wanted you guys to see is, first of all, these leads, they might be a little bit older, but that's just since July. One of my family members' cousin, stays on, he's actually been setting appointments off of some older leads that he had that I just hadn't had time to really work and call through. And he's been setting appointments on them. Some of those things are 6, 7, 8 months old. So I gave leads to an agent here in St. Louis. This was probably 6 months ago, about 5 months ago. And some of the leads I bought, they were 8, 9 months old. His first sale was on a lead that was 8 months old. So I don't get caught up in the dates. It's just, hey, we're just calling to verify the information, which we'll talk about that at a different time. I don't want to slow things down this morning. But I'm going to show you guys the grids here in a second. But you can see the information is here. The cool part about these handwritten ones, look at this one. His birthday's 9/1 of 59. Alan, call him after 3 o'clock. I mean, and it's handwritten. Kind of hard to deny doing that, right? These things are $2.50 or $1.50. So, and if they're doing these guys, you're talking about a mortgage. This guy's mortgage is $239,000. So think about it. If he says, yeah, I want to cover my full mortgage with you know, a CBI with a return of premium. I mean, that could be $200, $300, $400 a month. And yes, people buy those policies. I've sold several of them that are that big. A lot of them are smaller, but you know, it is what it is. You're just helping the client out. So I wanted you guys to see this. Let me see, because there's a couple different lead types I have on here too. Check these out. Mortgage protection. Literally wrote by hand all of their information on here and then initialed it. It's pretty crazy. Again, these things are $2.50. So I'm going to go ahead and move forward, but check this out. I'm going to do the exact same example. Now, some of these age ones don't work quite as well when you do this, but I just want to show you guys this really quick. Let me click a couple more. So that was mailer template. Okay. Now I'm going to do export leads. Hopefully this works right because of how these leads are put in the system. Yeah, they did. So this is basically an Excel spreadsheet. A lot of people like dialing like this. So all those leads that I was just showing you, now it's breaking them down by tier. So there's the age mortgage mailer and there's the mortgage protection 3-month. So you can see the date of birth for the person, their phone number, their mortgage amount, their lender, last time it was modified, the address, city, state, zip, and all that. It's pretty awesome. So you have all of this information on every lead that you have. So you can either do it in an ESV, Excel format, basically, or you can do a mailer template. Does anybody have any questions about that? It's a pretty neat system. And it doesn't cost you a thing to have access to it. And a lot of companies are charging $200, $300, $400 a month. I've seen $349 a month. Somebody told me one time that they pay for their CRM, which is insane.
Hi, Corey.
Yes.
Once you make a sale, how do you manage it in the lead database?
Great question. I'm going to open it. I just clicked on that particular lead. I opened it up and here's the actual insides of the lead. Okay, that's a fantastic question. This is basically, guys, standard disposition of a lead. So right in the center of the screen, you guys see the red status star? You guys see that?
Yeah.
How about now? Okay, thanks. Thanks, Brendan. Brendan, you're hired. So you can see when you're done, you can go in here and you can actually disposition the lead. So I'm going to go sold. It already has the date in there. And then I'm going to go down, go up to the top of the page. I'm not going to do this, but I'm going to go to the top of the page and hit save. Now, here's why dispositioning of a lead is important. Great question, Caroline, by the way. The reason dispositioning is important, when you do that and you take the lead out of the system, you want to email leads at FFL. I think it's leads at fflleads.com. I can get the proper one to you guys. But you're going to take a screenshot of the sale and send it in to home office. And what they'll do is they'll pull that lead out of the system. That's the only way the system knows that you made the sale. Now you can put the dollar amount and all that kind of stuff in here. So if it were, you know, $2,000, you could put $2,000 in there. Let's say it was yesterday. You could go in and modify the date and change it to yesterday as opposed to today. And then you've already put the sold and you save it. Does that help?
Yeah, definitely.
Gotcha.
Perfect. Okay. So you had a question. Actually, you said something that popped in my head, which I should have showed you guys this a few minutes ago. This is key when you're in the home. This is probably where you're going to spend the majority of your time when you're in the home. And there's a reason why I put it so far down the page, by the way. So when you're in the home and you're sitting there and you're having a conversation with somebody and you've asked them all the questions on the credibility sheet, right? And they're telling you all their health conditions and all this other stuff, right? You've done all that. So now what's going to happen is you're trying to figure out what product should you place them with, what carrier should you place them with, etc. So let's say it's a final expense situation. You simply come out here and you click on that, and then you just scroll down the page and find their health condition and then look up the carrier. So this is what I mean by that. Let's say somebody said they had a, I don't know, just COPD. Okay. COPD. Mutual of Omaha. So on the left-hand side is the illness. The top across the in black and white is the carrier. So if somebody has COPD, Mutual of Omaha takes them graded. You don't need to pick up the phone and call me or the in-home helpline or your business partner to know that. Americo, guaranteed issue. That means you have to use Americo's guaranteed issue product. Prosperity is graded. Aetna is standard. Foresters is standard. Transamerica is standard. So if I'm talking to someone and they tell me they have COPD and they're taking a medication for it, and that's the only health condition they have, I'm not going to say common sense because you guys probably haven't seen this a whole lot, but pretty common sense after you start to use this, your best bet for this person is Aetna. Everybody see that?
Yeah.
So again, help yourself sometimes instead of picking up the phone and having that time to call. And you can call and verify and all that. That's great. But sometimes it's just as simple. I mean, if you call me and say, hey, I got somebody with COPD, and I'm going to say, what's their age? So they're 68 years old. All they have is COPD, and they're taking, I don't know, whatever medication they're taking for COPD. I'm going to say, okay, how much are they looking for? They're looking for 20,000. Great. Aetna's going to be your best choice. And Aetna's going to take them. You go do the Aetna application and be done. This is where I get my information 95% of the time. Some of it I just know, but most of it, this is where, and if you call me and say, hey, can you help me with this? I'm going to ask you if you've completed the inventory home sheet, because if you haven't, I'm not going to help you. I'm just telling you straight up. If you completed the inventory form and you call and you ask me, this is where I'm going to go to. So you have access to the same information that I do or anyone else that's here. And it's just got a ton of information. Somebody had a heart attack, here you go. And they're looking for final expense within the last year decline, within 2 years graded. So if it's 3 years or 2 years in a day, heart attack, Mutual of Omaha doesn't care about their heart attack. Within a year, guaranteed issue with Americo, if it's been a year and a day, they're going to get standard rates. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Perfect. So you can see all the health conditions there. Again, if you need the help, you can call, but this is all put out here for you. Now, on page 9, on both the final expense and term grid, I think you were asking this earlier, Caroline, like where can you find some of this stuff? Just we'll keep it easy on you. These are going to be the majority of the carriers that you're going to use, and it gives you all their information. This is Mutual of Omaha's Living Promise. This is their senior benefit program. Got to be 45 to 85. If it's graded 45 to 80, you can see the dollar amounts, 2,000 to 40,000. If it's graded 2,000 to 20,000. You see all the information here. There's their height and weight table. Here's Americo's information. 50 to 85 non-smoker, 80 to 50 for smoker. Simplified issue application, prosperity, all their stuff. Aetna doesn't ask for height and weight. Aetna goes all the way to age 89. It's a really smart application. Highly recommend you guys watching that video. Very simple stuff. It's all right out here in front of you. So just take some time to glance through it, look at it. We had an excellent training with Transamerica yesterday. Fantastic for those of you guys that may have missed it. And that'll be on our YouTube page here in the next few days. So if I go back, and now I'm going to pull up, let me get out of here. Now I'm going to pull up the term grid, exact same thing. Now, fewer carriers, even though there's fewer carriers, these are the main ones. But again, you can call the in-home helpline, you can call me, you can call your business partner to help walk you through this, right? Same thing. So what did we say a few minutes ago? Heart attack, right? That's one that we looked up, or COPD. Here it goes right here for term. For COPD, if they ever had it, decline. Mutual, decline. Americo or AMM, decline. John Hancock, decline. So you're going to have to use another carrier. Or maybe you do have to call the in-home helpline to try to figure out where to place somebody that has COPD that's looking for term. Pretty simple. So let's go to heart attack now, since we use those.
Hey, Cam, can you give him some food? Sorry.
So if we go to heart attack, so you look at the condition heart attack, you can see Americo, again, it's this term across the board, they're saying decline for all the carriers. Anybody have any questions about this or how to use it? And keep in mind, guys, if it's saying, let me give you a prime example. I'm just going to go up here to the jail one. So jail or incarceration. Americo, within 10 years, decline. If it's been 10 years in a day, then they can get it. Okay. Let's see. I'm just trying to find another one that's pretty simple. We got some complicated stuff here. I was trying to find something that had dates on it. Oh, let's go back up to the top here really quick. So AIDS, ARC, which stands for AIDS-related complex or HIV. If they were diagnosed within the last 10 years, they're decline. I'm not going to ask you guys a question. I'll let you guys figure this one out on your own, but same thing we're just talking about. If it says decline or guaranteed issue or something like that within 2 years, then if it's been 2 years and a day, they qualify. So just keep in mind when you're looking at these grids on how to use them. If you have any questions, we're more than happy to help. All right. Anything else before I cover work spots very quickly? All right. So you guys are fighting a good fight here. So monthly bonus. I was talking about this a little bit earlier, but monthly bonus, 30,000 issue pay in a month, excuse me, $500, 40,000, $750, and it just goes up and up and up. If you guys want a 25% discount on leads, if you're a WorkSpots member, it's very simple. I'll post this out there on Slack again. If you're an Apple user, you use the one on the right. Android, you'd scan the one on the left. You simply open the camera up on your phone and hold it over the QR code, and it just walks you through. If you write a review, like a positive review about how much you like WorkSpots, doesn't have to be anything crazy. Before you hit submit, you need to screenshot it. That way you can send an email to Fabiana. With that screenshot, and she'll send you a code for 25% off. This code is good for 25% off till the end of the year. All right, so let's get to the WorkSpot stuff here really quickly. Sorry about the slide of the screen, you guys, but okay, so WorkSpots. So here's what WorkSpots provides. It's $99 a month, okay? And what it does is it provides you an office space to go to dial, to hang out and be around some other top performers in the office. It allows you to ask questions of people, that you might be dialing with. I'll tell you the coolest thing about this is a picture of our office here in St. Louis, but the neatest thing about it is it's great because now I'm starting to see people are working together, they're talking, they're dialing. A lot of people are going to lunch together now. So they're starting to build some friendships. And sometimes it's hard when you're trying to, kind of feel like you're on an island or by yourself. That's why we put these trainings on to try to help out as well. But WorkSpots is great from that standpoint. I'll be honest, when it first came out, I understood it, but I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, why would I do that? But it legitimizes your business as well. Excuse me. When you're trying to recruit and you have a place to go or show somebody, or here's the offices that you have access to. Again, $99 a month. It provides discounts to Best Buy, Home Depot. Now we have Enterprise and National Rent-A-Car at our office. If you're a part of our WorkSpots office, we've got water, coffee, tea, soda, snacks. You can print up to 150 prints a month for free. The meetings that we have WorkSpots meetings every Thursday where people come in and we train on different topics. It's just a high-speed internet. People can rent cubes. We have a couple office spaces, just those kind of things. So highly recommend it. Again, it's $99 a month, but the discounts that you'll save by having WorkSpots, it pays for itself. It really does. Even at our office, think about how much it would cost to go to Office Max and print off, 125 copies. Probably cost you probably $100. And then I mentioned this just a second ago. We have actually there's somebody on our team that actually used to work. Well, she was at Enterprise and now she's here full time. But she was like, I've never seen a discount that high. 50% off of rentals. And the fact that you don't have to pay for the insurance either. Look at that. Pretty nuts. So it pays for itself. Any questions, guys, before I let you guys get back about your Saturday? I'm happy to answer whatever questions you have to help out.
Corey?
Yep.
Should I just stick to one product? I'm new at this, so I'm gearing towards the final expense.
I highly recommend starting with final expense. Oh, I forgot that was off. Highly recommend starting with final expense, Caroline. It's simple. It's easy. I will tell you this though. Don't get caught up in mortgage protection and final expense. Mortgage protection really is, it's a theory. And here's why. If you had a home and if the home you had $30,000 left to pay on the home and you want to make sure your client wants to make sure that if they passed away, that $30,000 is taken care of. and you sold them an Aetna policy, and when they passed away, they wanted to just use that for final expense for their family, they could. But let's say they wanted to use that $30,000 to cover the mortgage. That $30,000 should be spent any way they see fit. If it's $100,000, they can do it any way they see fit. The real difference between mortgage protection and final expense is really the amount of coverage that you're getting. That's it.
Okay.
You could say you have a mortgage protection plan that has $100,000 and the person dies, and the beneficiary takes the money, leaves the house, and goes to Vegas and never comes back. Was that mortgage protection? Yeah, it was, but that's not what it was used for, right?
Yeah.
So, but I will tell you, you're smart by saying I'm going to start with the final expense because it is easier. And I'm going to say no to your question about focusing on one carrier. What I would say is the primary main carriers that you're going to see on the credibility sheet, I would focus on those, making sure that you have all your licenses and that you are familiar with going into each one of those applications. Because when you call us on the in-home helpline, or you call me because you need help, I'm going to ask you what questions ask the health questions that you've asked on their credibility form. And then from there, I'm going to tell you, put them with Aetna, put them with, Americo, put them with Mutual of Omaha. So make yourself familiar with those carriers and how to log into the system, so you're not fumbling around when you go to the client.
Okay, I only have 3 at
Okay.
this time.
Yeah, I think you may have slacked Amy and I, so we can start helping you get through that process as well to get more carriers. And 3 is plenty.
Okay.
3 is plenty. And
Thanks, Corey.
all the carriers, you're very, very welcome. I will tell you guys this, because I know a lot of us maybe or may not have been business owners before. I use, and again, I'm going to put my disclaimer out there. So last time, I'll do it today. I am not a tax person. I'm not telling you have to do this, but I know a lot of times with people, nobody tells them this stuff, and then they get themselves in a little bit of trouble and all that. Here's the deal. I use QuickBooks Self-Employed. It's just an app. That's all I use. And then what I'll do is I'll send that information or give my accountant accessibility to that, just to make sure I'm doing what I need to do. It's a cool app. It keeps track of when you're driving. So if I drive from my home to see Mr. Smith, and I go and meet with Mr. Smith, whether I sold him or not, when I meet with Mr. Smith, that app knows that I've driven from one place to the next. And then I can literally type in John Smith, and it tracks the mileage. But also what this thing does is it keeps track of your P&L, your profit, your loss. So it literally, you can go out there at a glance, and it shows you, you've put in $60,000 this month, you spent $15,000, and you're up 45 grand. It literally just keeps showing you that throughout and then you can also take pictures of receipts. So if you take a client to lunch or buy a client, whatever, cookies or whatever for their birthday, you take a picture of that receipt, upload it into there, and then you can categorize it to whatever you want to categorize it to. And it even breaks that down: meals, entertainment, all that stuff. I think I pay $25 a month for that app, and it's well worth it because it tracks everything. I have a business card, and I was about to show it to you guys for whatever reason, but I have a business card that's attached to that account. So every time I pull that card, I can either, if let's say for whatever reason, I bought lunch for somebody and it wasn't business related, but I used my card. I don't know why I would do that, but I could literally go in and delete that particular purchase. It's a really simple app, and I highly recommend it. Again, I'm not a tax person. I'm not telling you what to do, but I highly recommend that if you're a small business owner, which we all are, each one of you guys are, to be able to track your stuff, because trying to write it down and do all that. And you also, I know this for a fact, you do need to keep if you're going to write it off, you need to keep those receipts someplace for 7 years. And I just have folders, and I have everything listed for folders: auto, meals, marketing, leads, all that kind of stuff. Anything that could be written off: cell phone, office, all of that. Any more questions?
No, that's really cool. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
All right. Been beating you guys up for about an hour and a half. Anything else you guys need? You guys know I'm just a phone call away. Thank you guys. This just shows you guys are interested in building and growing and your business. We should have a ton of people on here, because my cousin Michael's here with me, and he sees the calls that I get on a daily basis, and I'm happy to take those. But this kind of stuff just speeds up your growth, just accelerates it. We might not have all the answers, but we know where to get them. And we appreciate you guys and your diligence. And you guys need me for anything, just let me know.
All right,
Thanks,
thanks, Corey.
Corey.
Good weekend.
You're welcome, guys. Bye for now.